Hello folks, this is your boy Kwan here, and today I'll be kind of talking as the horror junkie that I am. As some of you may know or may not know, I'm a big horror fan. Been pretty much doing or started a little bit of a podcast until some things had to be adjusted, but I'm gonna continue on in the spirit. And in the spirit of the Horror Junkies podcast, I'm gonna tell you why I think that the rage virus is the most deadliest virus, fictional virus, and it's more deadly than, to me, the zombie virus, than many other zombie viruses that I know. It's more deadly to me than maybe even some realistic viruses, and I'm going to tell you why. So if you do not know what I'm talking about, then you have not seen the 28 Days Later, you've not seen the 28 Weeks Later movies, and which means you're probably not going to know or have seen the most anticipated movie that'll be coming out next month in June, which will be 28 Years Later. But the premise, the main bad guy in those series, or one of the main bad guys in that trilogy of movies, is what's known as the rage virus. Now, quick backstory of the rage virus from what I remember from the comics and from some of the info that was detailed in a DVD that, pretty much the behind the scenes of the making of 28 Days Later franchise and whatnot. The rage virus is not supposed to be the rage virus. It was actually a couple of scientists were trying to figure out a way how to try to inhibit the rage emotion. And at first, they did it with a shot, and of course, it came out with the reverse effect of person becoming, or the being becoming, like almost intensely filled with rage. But it seemed like they were still mostly conscious. However, a guy had an idea of like, well, if we're going to do this, we should figure out something that can go faster than just giving people shots. And he thought of a virus. I think a virus will be pretty interesting to inject this into people. Now, follow along with me, because he's still thinking that this is a good thing. So he decides to look at, the enzymes of Ebola. And he combined Ebola with the rage inhibitor that's supposed to, once again, supposed to calm down, it's supposed to eliminate rage in a person. But from what I remember, due to the compounds in Ebola and how it reacted to the rage inhibitor chemical in the, of course, whatever was made, when he injected the rage virus into an ape, it did the exact opposite. But instead of what happened before, which was, a kind of soothing and grunting rage, it became a truly unhinged, animalistic, almost I'm so angry I can't speak kind of rage. And that is the birth of the rage virus. Now, if you've seen the movies, if you've seen, for instance, the first movie for sure, then you know that, those apes were filled with rage, the rage virus. Some do-gooders who didn't know exactly what they're getting themselves into released one of, the infected chimps. Chimps bit one person. That person became a rage infected that we all know and seen and lightly scared of and respect. And that's how the rage virus kind of exploded and got out of, from point A to point B to taking over a city. Rhyme bars. But I'm going to dive into some of the, I guess, physiological effects as to why the rage virus should be respected and feared, and why I love it and slightly scared of it still to this day, even though it is very fictitious so far. But what I'm going to get into is we're going to go into we're going to do the physiological part of it. So most of the time when people are angry, is been sold that, they go through, they go through some kind of like, they tense muscles, They're intensely focused, but they're also slightly bit irrational. The emotion has taken care of them. But remember, there are also positive effects of the rage, believe it or not. When you are really pissed off, you have a slightly heightened of awareness. You have a slightly muscle tension, which means you are already kind of flexing your muscles. You're actually ready to do something. On top of that, because of you are in a certain emotion that causes fight or flight, mostly fight, your body will release a little bit of adrenaline, which means for that time being, some of those heightened senses, sensations, strength even, is enhanced. Think about that. When you're angry just for a little bit, all that is slightly enhanced a little bit. So now combine that with the possibility with the rage virus that it sends you into a horrible animalistic rage, so where whatever you see, you want to maul it, you want to bite it, you want to scratch it, you want to smash its head in, you want to do all the crazy things. But remember, you're not doing it consciously. You're not like thinking, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. You're literally thinking about like whatever you can do, you just automatically do it. Now think about that combined with a constant stream of adrenaline being pumped into you. You are basically slightly superhuman, but you are a very pissed off, slightly superhuman. That's why I have crazy respect, but also I'm slightly scared of pretty much the rage virus, is the fact that once you are infected, which by the way, the infection rate, the infection time is also slightly scary, like to where people, when they get sick, what makes most viruses scary is the fact that their incubation period, their time that people get sick is literally a little bit elongated. Like when you get a cold, you literally have like 1 day or two, and then you start coughing or sneezing. Same thing with most of other viruses. Now, what makes the rage virus on top of the person who's infected with a raging superhuman, if you will, on top of that, when you think about the fact that when you get infected, you literally have 5 seconds before you are sick, which means you're 5 seconds before you're infected, which means you're 5 seconds turning into another rage-filled beast that wants to maul and harm anybody who is not angry just like you. Then you see the dilemma of why I think this is the most scariest thing, because one way or another, you're going to be in a bad scenario, whether the scenario is that you get bit, or whether you get saliva or spit or blood into your mouth or eyes or anything like that. But on top of that, you have to go with the survival of not only making sure you don't get infected, but survive the fact that you are fighting someone who is so angry they do not care about their life. But on top of that, they're so angry that the adrenaline's pumping through them, and they are twice as strong, they are twice as fast as they normally are. And that is why I wanted to give a little bit of a rant in anticipation, of course, of the 28 years later movie that will come out in June that I'll be looking into theaters. Because if you don't know, I'm one of the few people that actually like to go to the theaters, that wants to see it in a big theater setting, and to see not only the movie, but to slightly peripherally see all the reactions of everyone around me. I'm that kind of crazy guy. I'm that kind of weirdo. I like to go to the theater to have the whole experience of the theater, both watching the movie and having people experience and also watching the movie. But that is my take on why I think the rage virus is one of the most deadliest fictional viruses that ever can be created, because once you are infected, if you happen to be infected, then literally you are a souped up, angry human who's not only pumped adrenaline constantly to do what you need to do, but because when you apply, I'm so angry, I just keep going. I'm so angry, I keep punching the wall even though my bones are broken. I am so angry, I will get to this person one way or another, even if that means I am not going to live. When you combine all those factors, that's what makes it, to me, twice as scary, because you are literally so pissed off that anything and everything that can happen when you're trying to go to a target probably will happen, but you won't care because your main mission is to get to that being or to turn them. One of the two things. So keep that in mind. If you like this awesome rant of mine, please like, share, and subscribe. Remember, this is the Horror Junkie part of my YouTube channel. And tell me what you think about the Rage virus. Tell me what you think about some of the things that could happen in the 28 years later. Has it really evolved, or has it just possibly just kept going on and on and on and on and on to the point to where now we can't really stop it, and it just kind of just does a flash circle, I guess, to where it just comes back every once in a while just to jump people again. Keep that in mind. I'm your host, Quan. Deuces.